Hello, everyone. This is Coach Kennie Asuncion, and we're here today for our live stream wherein we will discuss all about singles. So you can ask me any questions, you can comment anything, and I will only be answering questions related to singles. So for those who are new here, I'm Coach Kennie, and I do come out with videos every week, as specifically on Wednesdays. It's a full video on specific topics that I talk about, and normally on Sundays I do answer questions that have been put under my comment section. So please feel free to watch my videos and do comments and feel free to ask questions. So I'd like to say hi to the people who are here with us. Vikal Kumar, thank you. You're the first one, and you did you did come by for the live stream. Thank you very much. Hi to Alex in Madrid. Tanishka Catrivel, hello. Nagaraju PV, Ashish Rebi. I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. Deshmukh, I'm not sure how to pronounce your first name. Hi to Angel Arias, Reka Bati, Marcelino Arias, Ghost Random, hello. Jacinto Maliwat, hello and good afternoon. Jillian, hello. Sheila Aswani, Anantha Jith, KP, hello. So let's get on to our topic and discuss about singles. Okay, Sheila Aswani specifically is asking how I can improve my speed. Okay, so basically, I would always say that we need to work first on our footworks. We have to have really good footwork so that we can work on the speed. If your footwork is very fluid, you move on court gracefully, then that's the time you can speed up your game. So how do you speed up your game? Well, there are different aspects of doing it. You can have a coach actually to feed some shuttles for you. In that way, the coach can adjust the speed to your needs, because you can't go also too fast for a player who practically can't hit any shot. That would be useless if the player can't hit any shots because it's too fast. So when the coaches feed, it is also very important that they feed it correctly. Fast enough for the player to have a bit of a hard time, but they will make it and they will be able to hit it. And sometimes even if they're kind of slightly overstretched, they could still hit it back. So it's a lot of practice, a lot of good footwork. Hi to Timothy Arias. Hi, coach. What is the best serve for singles? Okay, so for singles, it really depends on your opponent. Okay, you have to know where you get your points. So service is very important. You can immediately set it up for yourself. Before, during my time early on, when we play singles, majority of the serves would be a high sort of like a high lob when it comes to the serve. But these days, you will see many players using the short serve. Why do they use the short serve? Well, because they don't want to be immediately in a defensive position. Because once you make a high serve, it's automatic that you are already in a defensive position, meaning your opponent can smash, can drop, can clear. Those are offensive shots. So you automatically become on the defense. Hi, MSC de Guzman. Hi, Shad Shamil. Hi. Sheila has another question. How can I play like a professional? So all the professionals would start out the way you do, the way you did, with a lot of patience, with a lot of dedication to the sport. It really requires a lot of practice. Basically, any sport that you want to be good at, you need a lot of time, you need a lot of effort. You have to keep on doing it until such time it feels so natural. It feels like, very fluid. I would liken it as to us growing up, right? I mean, we weren't born to be able to immediately use our utensils and eat by ourselves. It took us years of working on it. So badminton is basically the same thing. You have to work on it until such time you don't think about the footwork, you don't think about the movement. all you would focus on would be the strategies and how you're going to beat your opponent. So Angel Arias has a question. How do you go up against a tall player? Okay, now it's really hard to generalize, but I would say that in general, most taller players would have a hard time bending since they're tall. Yes, they're taller, they're longer, their reach is better, but what's hard for them will be body shots. Because, for example, their arms are much longer, so it's really hard to maneuver your arm when the shots are closer to the body. Another difficulty for taller players would be the drop shots. Because imagine, unless they have a good squat position, it will be hard for them. And normally taller people would have to squat a little more if they want to get those defensive shots. So a good sharp drop will be hard. Okay, but I'm saying all these just to sort of give you an idea, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's it for tall players, because I know a lot of tall players who know what their weaknesses are and they work on it so they become better at it. So you have to patiently, once you're in the game, you have to patiently check where where you can catch your opponent, where you get your points. And that's what you keep doing. As long as you get the points, you keep doing that shot until your opponent guards that area. Then you switch again, you change, but go back to it. Because if you've gotten so much points from that area, most likely, you can still get more points from it. Okay. Hi, Kennie Asuncion. Hi, all the way there in San Diego. That's my brother, Kennie, who used to be the Philippines men's singles #1. So, hi, sending all the love. We miss you, especially this season. Tanishka Catrivel, what workout can be done to improve singles for footwork? Well, footwork is all about practicing. So you can do shadow play. Shadow play means moving on court without a shuttle, just doing the footwork. Okay. So there are many different variations for the shadow play. So you can use a racket. You can use regular racket. Sometimes you can use a heavy racket. And then you can also use just the shuttles. Let's say you don't want to use the racket. You can move around, have someone throw the shuttle, just 2 shuttles. Throw the shuttle to you, pick it up, throw it back with your dominant hand, and then move to the next area. So there are many ways to work on your footwork. Study lover Shagun, hi, how can I ignore people who are laughing at me during playing when I drop shot by mistake? Okay, that's a very good question. Once you get on court and you start playing, you should sort of like shut yourself from whatever noise the outside, people make. Regardless of whether they're laughing at you or whatever they're talking about, you should be able to shut it off and concentrate on your game, because there's so many things to watch out for in the game. So that's the least that should be the least of your worries. Shut them off, do not listen to them. It's okay. I mean, really, you shouldn't care whatever people have to say. What's important is you enjoy the game, you are trying to improve yourself. No one is perfect. We will all make different kinds of mistakes. I don't think we should be laughing at anyone for their mistakes. We should be helping each other. So if you see someone making another mistake and you know how to remedy it, then you be the nicer person to also help the other player. Okay. So Suhas Chaudhary, hello, ma'am. Myself, Shreya. I'm left-handed. I usually face problem in a jump smash and forward movement due to hamstring pain. Can you please suggest a solution? Okay, hamstrings shouldn't be painful on a normal basis. If it keeps on bugging you, you probably have to rest it. When I say rest, I mean that you rest the hamstring, but you work on the other parts that you can. So, for example, your hamstring is hurting, then just focus on doing some strokes, that you need to work on, even if it's just specific spots. One spot, I want to practice my chop, or my smash without the jump, so it doesn't bother my hamstring. Then, without much movement from the lower body, just do the upper part of the smash. So there are many things that you can modify, but most importantly, make sure that your hamstring heals correctly, because it's really hard to run around the court when your hamstring is bothering you. Okay, so hi to Ananthajith KP. Which is the better grip for body shot? That depends, okay? So I would normally, the body shot is, for me, what's comfortable for me would be to use the backhand. Okay, if I'm having a hard time, so backhand is here to your left side. And even if here to the right side, to your forehand side, you can also use the backhand because it's more comfortable. Okay, as opposed to hitting it this way, that you have to move your entire upper body. So I would go backhand this way if it's a body shot. Okay, so we have Jillian. Jillian, hello. How to prevent tensing up in the middle of a game? Okay, you have to acknowledge that tensing up, being a little stressed, being a little nervous, whether before, during, or close to finishing a game, is normal. What should you focus on? Once the thought enters your mind, you're tensing up a bit. Maybe you're worried, you're losing points, or maybe you're getting like too excited, you're leading. You have to calm yourself down. I always say that in order for you to control the shuttle, you must be able to control your emotions. If you cannot control your emotions, then it will be very difficult to control the game. So, how do you get your mind off those unnecessary things? I call them unnecessary because you just have to acknowledge that they're there, but you have to set them aside. Nervousness, tensing up, being overly excited. You have to push those thoughts and feelings to the side a bit and focus on how to get that rally, how to win that point. So focus on that. Or you can also focus on where you lose your points, because you need to cover those areas as well. So focus on that, how you get your points or what to cover. Hi, Alex in Madrid. Hi, Coach Kenny. How do I cover the backhand if it's weak from the back? Okay, this is a very common mistake for singles. Normally men are, much stronger in terms of the backhand hitting from the back area. So what do we do if we feel like our opponents have been attacking us on the same spot? Then I would suggest that you anticipate, ready your racket in such a way, if it's possible that you get it higher, then use your overhead to get it, as opposed to moving and getting it with your backhand. I would rather you go overhead to hit it, then it's like hitting with forehand. Now, if there's no choice and you're really forced to hit it with your backhand, try to look at your opponent from the corner of your eye as you move this way and you're about to hit the backhand. Look through the corner of your eye where your opponent is waiting. If your opponent rushes forward to the net, just try to make a longer drop. Sometimes I know it's impossible to ask for a backhand lift or a backhand drive because it's too strong, it's from the back, but all you need to do is make the shuttle go past your opponent. So even slightly behind your opponent. As long as they're not waiting here and hitting that shot in front, it won't be as strong. So make it go past a little. Before we continue on, I would like to remind everyone to please download the Graphy app. Check out my video book, which is entitled Badminton ABCs with Coach Kenny. So I do hope you download the Graphy app. And hi to Roy Calianta. And hi to Noah. Merry Christmas. It's a very festive time here in the Philippines. Despite the pandemic, people are, in their homes celebrating and with, just a few people from their families. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Okay, so Just reminding our viewers in the live stream to please be polite and avoid spamming. And hi, Prasanta Saikia. Good afternoon. I'm Shantanav from India. Please explain which are the best positions for a cross-court smash. Um, if you meant how to move and maneuver our body for the cross-court smashing, you mean you being the one doing the cross-court smash. It's important that you make a quick movement with your upper body and your leg. Okay, so immediately move, get it as high as you can if you want it sharper. Okay. Now, if what you meant was to take that cross court attack, well, again, when you play with different opponents, of course, at the beginning of the game, you try to read how your opponent moves. You try to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, but you will notice what shots they love doing. So you will notice if your opponent loves to make a cross-court smash or a cross-court drop, then you have to anticipate it. What do I mean when I say you have to anticipate it? Either you put your racket ready in that position if you miss it a lot, ready your racket, or maybe slightly lean your body to that direction, wherever direction that is, harder for you. And I would like to stress that um, the backhand is not the weakness all the time in terms of the defense. Okay, some players have a harder time doing a forehand defense. Now, do you see, does it make sense? Because this movement, this backhand movement is smoother. This feels more natural as opposed to controlling the forehand. So some players might have a harder time doing the forehand defense. So you have to check and see what your opponents have difficulty in, and that's what you try to press on for them. Okay? So, hi, Muamo Akpusug. Um, what is the best way to return a short serve? Okay, the best way to return a short serve depends on where your opponent actually waits for the next shot. If after they serve, you see them waiting in front, then after this, what you do when you receive the serve is to push them to the back. Push it immediately to the back. Now, if they kind of wait, you will see that their body is slightly moving to the back. Or sometimes, you know why I really truly believe that you need a coach on court when you're playing is because someone outside sees how you're moving, tells you, because sometimes it's hard to picture ourselves. Or maybe if you put a camera, a video to play and so you can play it back and watch how you move, then that would be good, right? So you can see how you're moving, where you're anticipating. Okay, so Marcelino Arias asks, what should a player that plays predominantly doubles looks out for when playing singles? Okay, doubles and singles is a very different game in the sense that, well, basically, singles, you just have to make sure that you're ready immediately. Whereas for doubles, you have someone to help you cover certain areas. So you only have to work on your side of the court. But it all boils down, well, for both singles and doubles, you need to be consistent. You need to be able to place your shots well. So you need to be ready physically because it takes a lot, to be moving around an entire court. Prasanta Saikia. Yeah. So you were asking which are the best position for a, well, I've answered that already. I'm sorry. I've answered that. Hi to Job KA. Hi to Ghost Random. PV Lakshmi Priya. My game is very good, but my footwork is wrong and my strokes also wrong. So, coach, tell me some exercises to improve my footwork. Okay, for your footwork, I've specifically made some videos on specific areas, from the front, from the defense, for the V-back, running forward and back, and running the entire court. Do master that. Keep on doing it. And I've also come out with other videos that would use different, styles or different exercises and drills that will actually work on your footwork, such as the shuttle run. The shuttle run is putting shuttles in the middle of the court and then running to all four corners and putting those shuttle out. So that is also a very good drill to work on the footwork. Monty Milo, hi coach. How do I improve on returning shots given to me on the VBAC area? Okay, especially for beginners, the back area is very, very hard in the sense that you need to control the strength, meaning from the back, how strong do you hit it going to the other side? Of course, you need it very strong in order for you to hit it to the other side baseline. So work on the strength. You start out by just doing the back area. You want to work on the VBAC? Work on it with shuttle. Have someone just do clears with you, lobs or clears. Because I remember as a young kid, those are the regular drills that we do. Lob, just doing clear. You'll start sometimes with just one position and then you'll have the whole back doing all clears. Just keep on doing that. And sometimes we have two people on each side, and then after they hit, you switch to the other side. After you hit, you switch to the other side, which is also a good drill. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you moving. Hi, Enrico Chioni. What is the strategy against players who love pending in front and love to spin the shuttle at the net? Okay, let's get first to your first question on how to deal with players who love to do pending. Pending, for those who don't know, means that you're slowing down and you have a sudden change of movement. If your opponent loves to do that, like pause and then suddenly change, do not move before they hit. Wait for them to hit it, but it's very crucial that you do a quick movement, a quick start, and get to that point. Okay? So when your opponent loves to sometimes change at the last minute, wait for it. Do not move immediately. Now, if your opponent loves to spin the shuttle in front by the net, do not give them the shot that will allow them to do the spin. What do I mean by that? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be dropping or you shouldn't put a net shot, but try different solutions. Make your net shot slightly longer. If you make it slightly longer, it will be harder to spin it. It's easier to make a spin if the shot that you give your opponents are close to the net. So a little bit of movement will make the shuttle spin, making it even stick to your side of the net. So to avoid that, make your drops a little longer. Okay? Don't allow your opponent to be able to do it. So, hi, Kenvic Asuncion. So that's my brother all the way from San Diego, coaching there. And just want to say hi because he's the former men's singles champion of the Philippines. He's already in San Diego, USA, coaching. Hi, Kranti Deepak Vasiredi. I'm Kriti from the US. How to be consistent in any situation. Okay. Consistency has a lot to do with your confidence. If you've practiced, consistently and you've tried really, really well, then you should you should have a bit of confidence. The problem is we will never have the feeling that we're so confident. Normally, we never. Okay. There are super little players who would go on court and say, I'm so perfect, I'm so great, I can cover anything. I don't think even the greatest players right now feels that way when they move or when they go inside the court. Instead, it's not to say that we think negatively. We think positively, but we have to have a bit of confidence. The more confident we are, the better our shots will go in. Try to notice that when we're playing in a game and we consistently make errors and then we keep telling ourselves, oh no, I missed it again. Oh no, I missed the front. Oh no, I didn't get the back shot. The more we reinforce those, the worse our game gets. So you have to change that mindset. I missed this front. You have to have sort of a little playback. Why did I miss it? Is my footwork enough? Oh, I think I need an extra half step or maybe an extra full step. Then make the adjustment. Always find solutions. for you to be confident, you should have um, that mentality of solving problems, mentality of I know I can do this, I know I can cover this, regardless of whatever. Because no player is ever perfect. Nobody can say I have everything covered. So whatever it is, whatever weaknesses you have, all you need to do is to be able to cover it and to be able to use your strength in the best of your abilities. Okay, so hi Bianca Carlos. Hi Bianca. Bianca is one of our current top ladies singles player. So this is one of her, forte in sense of the badminton game. Hi, how can you stay focused and calm when playing in singles match, especially when scores are tight? Okay, when scores are tight, what you focus on again is how to get that rally. Okay, do not pressure yourself that I have to get the next point. I have to. Of course, you want to get the next point. That's a given. But how? You have to keep thinking that. Finding where, knowing where you get your points, knowing what to cover. Okay, so that's very, very important. How to stay calm. If you feel like your heart is beating so fast, you're so nervous, you can't seem to control it, focus on deep breathing. I always say that to all my players, focus on your breath. Deep inhales through your nose, then you slowly exhale through your mouth. Because it calms you down, okay? It has to calm you down. So do that. So sometimes after a long rally and it's very, very tight and you're kind of stressed, still worried if you're going to get the next one or not, when you pick up the shuttle, even before you give it to your opponent or even before you serve, take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Blow out slowly the air. Now, for others, you'd see some players shouting, ah! Well, that's a release. So if you need that, pretty much like Bianca Carlos, when you watch her play in the last SEA Games or in other tournaments, you'll see her sometimes, pump herself up by shouting or releasing some of that that stress or that excitement. Sometimes it's not all nervousness, but sometimes it's excitement containing yourself. Okay, so Kel with fun, hello ma'am, how can I improve our jump? Okay, the jump has a lot to do with timing. Okay, since we're doing a racket sport, the jump and the movement of our arms, our bodies, upper body, our legs is very important. You have to feel comfortable. You will know by practicing when is the exact spot that is right for you when you want to do those jump smashes. Okay, so again, it all boils down to practicing. Okay, so another question from Study Lover Shagun. Ma'am, please tell if I can start academy at the age of 15 so I can take in this game as carrier as I'm a beginner. Okay. If you truly love the sport, go ahead and try it. You will never know unless you try it. And 15 is for, age for people, they have different views on age. Some would say, oh, you're too old at 15. I would say, yes, you started a little bit late, but I will not tell you that you cannot make it because you cannot tell someone who is so eager and so determined to do something and get something that they can't do it. No matter what people tell you, no matter what people say, if you want to do it and if you think you have the skill to do it, it doesn't matter what age you are. Okay, just go for it, try it. Okay, you will know along the way if it's worth pursuing or maybe something else is better for you. Hi, Ringo Santa Ana. Hi, coach. Sometimes I make a big lead, but then out of the blue, my opponent is just a point behind me. Then I get so tensed. Okay. So, see, sometimes, okay, this is a very important topic, an important question. Thank you for bringing that up, Ringo. Normally, if we don't check the score too much, we play it right. We do it right. And when we get points and when we lead, with a big lead, the more comfortable we are. And, the better our game becomes. But once our opponent starts getting the points, it stresses us out. And once they get another point, it adds up more to our stress. You have to understand, it's impossible for you from start to finish to be getting all the points. At some point, your opponent will get a point or two. What is your focus? Your focus is that hopefully your opponent can just get 1 point or maybe just two. That's it. And you have to focus on how to get it back. If you didn't and the score is getting closer, do not stress on the score. That is not the outcome of the game. But once you're too focused on the score, you can lose sight of what and how to play the game. So, more importantly, you have to focus on how to get the point. It doesn't matter what the score is. Okay, it doesn't matter. Even if you take a 5 point lead and suddenly you're both tied on the same score, you have to calm down and think how you are going to get the next point or how you are going to cover that spot where your opponent keeps getting the point. Hi, Yash Andale. Ma'am, please tell me the lefty player footwork. Okay, so I've been getting some questions with regards to footwork for left-handed people. And it's when you see my instructional videos, you will see that since I'm right-handed, I would teach the right side. Yours is always just kind of like the opposite. Okay, so for left-handed people, you have to swing. Your dominant leg is your left side. So arm and leg goes together as you swing. When you hit, when you move out your leg, it has to be together. Okay, when you do the footwork, if you hear me teach for right-handed people to move their left leg first, then end with their right, then yours is the opposite. You move your right leg first and end with your left. Okay, so that's how it goes. That's how the footwork is. If you see me teaching for dominant right-handed people that you move your right leg first, then yours would be the left first. Okay, so it's just the opposite. What's important is you end with your left leg because that's when you will be hitting with your left hand. Okay, so Mokshitha, coach, how to improve my deception skill? Okay, so your deception skill will come as you become more comfortable and more consistent with your shots. The deceptive shots, for me, you do it only if your opponent is moving so fast, so fast. But if your opponent is slow, there's no need for you to do deceptive shots because deceptive shots goes in slower. So you use that for people who move too fast in one direction, moving too fast. If they anticipate to one direction, you pretend you're putting it there and at the last minute you change. Now, how do you hit, especially for the front? When you do deceptive shots in front, I'd like to take the shots higher. Why? Because from the top, you can sort of slow it down and then do and execute your shot. Whereas if you get it from below, it's a little tricky because those deceptive shots have to travel going up the side of your net all the way to the other side. So I'd rather take shots and make those deceptive shots when it's higher. But of course, you can do those lower with practice. Hi, Prachi Agarwal. How to improve consistency in game? Okay, again, consistency is, of course, will be based on how often you get to train, how often you get to play, how much exposure you get. It's really good to set goals. Okay, so when you start out, okay, you work on specific things, footwork, movement, good strokes. When you've got those things covered, you slowly start targeting for people that you can play against. The more people you play against, the better. Because, of course, you will be exposed to many different shots. So it's important that you play with different types of people. So again, there's a fine line for coaches to allow their players, to go for tournaments or, because putting players into tournaments would have to have that enough preparation, or players who are strong-willed that whether they win or not, they will still be determined to go and to continue on and still look forward to other tournaments. So coaches have a lot of things to think about. Like even for myself, when we ask our players to join tournaments, first and foremost, if it's a young player, does this player really want to go for a competition? Second, we teach them how to, to face the challenges when you're on court. Because if you're very new, what you battle, against would be yourself, getting so nervous, going on court. But, in actuality, people, not everyone outside is really watching you. They'll probably see you, but don't be too self-conscious, okay? Just enjoy the game. That's what matters most, that we enjoy the game. Because once you enjoy the game, everything else will be better. Okay. Okay. Ken Vic Asuncion has a good, and I'm sure he knows the answer to it, but he's asking that because he wants other people to know what should they eat before the game if they always get hungry. Okay. Of course, our appetite would be different. Our needs, our nutritional needs will be different. It varies from person to person. If you're the person who's the type to get hungry easily, try to bring some snacks, healthy snacks that won't weigh you down if you have a game. Bananas, light sandwiches, maybe for those who are okay with having milk or chocolate drinks, that's fine too. But, very minimal and, just to fill in that bit of a hunger before your actual game. But do not go for heavy, full meals because then you won't be able to move on court. Okay, so Timothy Arias, when I'm in a long rally, I usually feel tired and end up losing the point. How can I improve and prolong my endurance? Okay, first and foremost, it's okay to feel tired. Let me tell everyone that it's okay to feel tired simply because that only means you are able to bring out what you have. If you've been running on court and you don't feel anything, like you're not tired, it's either your opponent is so weak that you don't even need to exert the effort, you just get the points, or it could be that you're the weak one and your opponents just kill you with a few shots. So when you feel tired, it's okay. What do you do when you feel tired? You focus on your deep breathing. You focus on your breath. Have a positive mind to to deal with it. The problem sometimes is that when we feel a little tired, it kind of makes us panic a bit. It makes us feel as though, oh no, how am I going to finish the game? I'm already tired. But the truth is, everybody gets tired, no matter how good you are. The best players in the world get tired after a long rally. What's important is the recovery for the next point for the next rally. So if your mind is strong, you tell yourself, I'll focus on the breathing. I'll try to wipe off some sweat and get back into it. Okay? So Ishan Srivastava, hi coach, I have tournament in college and last time I got too nervous. My hands and legs were shaking. Okay, so how do you deal with nervousness? I would always encourage players before getting on court to do warm up really well. You need to jog a bit, do a bit of exercise. Of course, do not tire yourself out like when you get on court you're too tired, but you have to like kind of feel yourself like breathing a bit heavy, you're moving, because if you're warm when you get on court, it's there's less chance of you not being able to move if you're warm enough. I like to tell my players that before they go in that they're warmed up well. I actually like seeing them, sweating a bit before getting on court. That means they're ready to move. So that's what you do. Make your warm up, do your warm up, again, like food, we all have different preferences. Some players would like to do warm ups longer. Some are good with short warm ups. You have to know which one is the best for you. Okay. Sri Ram Charan Sachin. Hi, coach. I want to change to right handed. I want to change the right handed to left. Any suggestion? Well, that's a bit hard switching, switching racket, switching hand, switching racket, because you will be switching and changing your entire footwork. But then again, I know a handful who can actually do that. So if you feel it is for you, then you just have to start over and really work on it, practice the movement, because it's going to be totally opposite in terms of the movement. J23. Hi, Coach Kenny. I'm Jatin from Mauritius. How can I improve my cross court drop shot as it always goes out? Okay, so hi, and most likely it's try to, if you can video yourself, look at the face of your racket. If the face of your racket is pointing outward, most likely it's too much and that's why it goes out. It has to slightly go diagonal but not facing out. So when you hit, it's just slightly diagonal to make that cross. Okay? You have to keep practicing. Do not be frustrated about it. All it takes is just adjustment. So really, in any shot, when we want to perfect something, you need to practice it. And once you feel it, you feel that it's the right one for you, it becomes automatic. Every time you move to that direction, your movement will be the same. Okay. Govind Chowdhury. How to judge what my opponent is going to play a few fraction of second before usual. Okay. It would really be hard to judge what your opponent will be playing. What's important is, especially in the start of a game, is your quick start. If you can manage to make a quick movement, as soon as your opponent hits the shot, make a quick movement, then you're fine, you're good. Okay? Because it's really hard to say what the opponent will be hitting. I mean, most of us, especially when we are involved in the game, it's hard for us to like overthink it, like what's the next shot, what's the so what you do is you focus on your quick movements, your quick start, your quick movement to the direction where your opponent will be hitting. Okay, how much footwork should I do per day? Okay, well, footwork for me is like, having healthy things that we put in our body. When we eat something healthy, it's okay. We can have a little more. So it's the same with footwork. You can have a little more of the footwork as long as you don't overdo it. Nothing is painful. You are not straining yourself too much. Okay. So, hi, Cheryl Cosim Official. Hi, Coach Kenny. Where should I stand when serving in singles? Okay, so serving in singles will depend on what serve you plan to do. But normally, you will see players standing a little closer to the front. Why is that? Normally, it's because shots in front, shots to the side are faster than the shots at the back. The shots at the back, you will have time to move back, and you can still save it. Even if you have to get it underhand, even if you're late, it's fine. But in front, there's no way you can save it if it's already there, right? So it's fast, it's coming down. So normally people will stand a little closer to the front. Rock the world. Please help me. I am suffering from ankle sprain and this is my fourth time that it happened to me. Having problem with the recovery and also I don't know why my ankle got twist during play. Okay, here's the thing. Once you've sprained your ankle, you're prone to do it. You're prone to have it often. I remember clearly that it happened to me once every month, 3 months in a row. Okay, so what did I do? I just made sure that I followed instructions. Okay, so as if the doctor or the physical therapist tells me to wrap it or to ice it, I would do it. Normally, immediately after a sprain, like when you twist it, I would ask my players to get a bucket of water, put a lot of ice, and dip your entire foot all the way up to your ankle. Okay, why? So that in case you twisted it in some other way, because sometimes we think we twisted it clockwise, but we're not sure really if it was that direction or maybe it was the other direction. So to make sure that you've covered all areas, I would ask players to dip their entire foot in a bucket of ice and water for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then after that, to elevate their foot. Okay, try to like be on a bed or on a chair and put up your foot on pillows slightly higher than your heart. okay, to avoid it from swelling. And sometimes you need to wrap it, not too tight though, just to keep it from swelling big. Now, if it happens to you often, make sure it heals well and do really, really good warm ups. You know what I do is that when I warm up my feet, I really like move it a lot in all directions so that. And I consciously know that there were instances in a game wherein I would sort of twist it slightly, but it doesn't affect me anymore because I know I've warmed it up well. Okay. Um, Gallon TV, how do you go against a short player? Okay, so how do we go against a short player? Well, short players, of course, would be slower in the sense that taller players would do it one step, and the shorter player would have to do it two steps. So what you do is you try to outrun the shorter player. Of course, that's not generalizing that everybody's the same. I know many shorter players who have compensated through their speed, who have worked so hard in speeding up so that they will get there. Even if it means that person is two steps and their opponent is one step, they will make sure to get there. Okay, so yes, you can maximize the use of the four corners of the court when your opponent is shorter, because a slight push to one corner at the back clearly opens 3 points, both in front and the other side. Okay, so Rajput Singh, coach, during hitting a smash, I feel a very pain in my forehand muscle and elbow. Please tell us how to hold the racket and what should be the swing of our wrist and elbow during a smash. Okay, for the smash, well, first and foremost, I don't know what caused the pain on your muscles and elbow. The muscles and elbow could be because it was overused. Maybe you played a lot of games that day. Normally, if I feel a bit of pain on my elbow, I would immediately ice it when I'm done playing. I'd ice it for about 15 minutes. If I feel muscle soreness after taking a bath and resting in bed, I would slowly massage myself just to relax the muscle. But the pain shouldn't be very consistent. Also, do check your racket. Sometimes the racket might have a tension that's too high, because I've experienced that. My tension for my racket is approximately 27 or 28. I've tried making it go up to 30, and the vibration of the string, I think that's what caused my elbow to ache. So check on those things as well. Okay, overuse, the tension of your racket, the care afterwards when it's painful. Okay, Robbie Ramos. Hi, Robbie. Coach, what to do if you're against a rally player? Okay, so if you feel like your opponent is, sort of strong in terms of their stamina, they keep returning the shots. Well, of course, I want you to not be disheartened. Instead, find a fast attack that's going to get you your point. If you feel that rally to rally, you know that your opponent is, slightly on the upper hand, then you have to find which point, which shot that can get you a point and focus on it. Okay, do not play what your opponents like to play. If they want to drag on the rally, they want to play it slow, making it longer, then make your shots faster. Okay, make sudden shots, sudden quick shots that's going to throw off your opponent. But of course, you have to work on that steady rally, because you also need that. Okay. Marcelino Arias, during this pandemic, what exercises can we do considering limited access to badminton courts? Okay. So, me and our group of coaches, we still hold online classes, and it's really a challenge for players, especially with limited spaces. But there's so many exercises that you can do. The coaches have to modify it. Now, what's the problem if you stop training thinking, well, I don't have the space, I can't do? There's so many things that you can do with limited space. So be active, do something. Do not just sit down and not do anything. Coaches will help you, will help modify. If I wanted to um, do a certain exercise and my player doesn't have, let's say, they can't use a racket because they might hit the ceiling or they might hit the wall, improvise. Think of something else that you can use. Maybe a shorter thing, maybe a tube of shuttle, or maybe a very, very light weight, with those weights that you can swing very easily. Okay, something like that. You have to find things or other ways to modify the training so that you can still work on the things that you need to. Okay, so let me remind everyone again to please download the Graphy app, um, which is entitled Badminton ABCs with Coach Kenny. That's my video book, and I'm really, really proud of doing that. So please do check out. And it's not only badminton that you will learn through Graphy. There's so many other skills that you can learn. Anything you can think of, that you want to work on, check it out. Check out Graphy. Alex in Madrid asks, when I play singles, it's so hard for me to get the shots in front and lose points. How do I improve my front game? Well, okay, try to squat, to always be in a squatting position because the shots in front are faster so that you can easily move in. Now, it also depends on your height. If you're much taller, then the squat will go a little lower. If you're, middle height, then it's fine. Just a bit of squat, you can move. And you have to like kind of wait a bit so you know that you have a harder time in front. Try to move slightly forward. If your opponent loves to give it in front, anticipate it. Go one step forward or just lean a little forward. It makes a difference. The leaning forward is getting you prepared to move forward right away. Govind Chowdhury, how to take recovery steps after pushing in corners. Well, that's why in a few videos that I've done, I stressed out on the fact that do not dump your weight on your leg when you do certain shots. No matter if you're getting an underhand shot, do not dump your whole weight on your dominant leg because if you dump it, it's harder to go back. So try to move lightly on court. If you move lightly, chances are you can move lightly back to the next shot. J23, I have another question on how to read my opponent's strategy. Well, you just have to consciously see where your opponent gets their point and where you get yours. Okay, as long as you are getting your points, keep doing that shot. And if your opponents keep getting a point from you at a specific shot, then you have to anticipate and wait for it. Okay, so Joy Arizapa, hello coach, any tips or training for improving my backhand shots? Well, backhand is really a general harder shot to strengthen, but through practice, have someone feed shots to you and you just work on the backhand, or have someone just hit it to that direction and you practice it. It all boils down to practicing it. Hari Krishnan PR. Hi, coach. When I go for the backhand, it will be late and I take the shot when the shuttle is about to reach the ground with less power. How can I improve it? What to do in a situation? Okay, so if you've noticed that your opponent keeps hitting it to your backhand, again, slightly position yourself waiting, anticipating in that area through your racket, through your body movement, body language, kind of waiting there and immediately moving there. As much as possible, since you know that your backhand is weaker, try not to get it underhand, meaning low and back. You do your best, if possible, to of course get it through overhead. Because if you get it overhead, then it's like doing a forehand. But if you really can't and you have to do a backhand, try to get it as high as you can. Okay? Chances are you have more variety with your shots. Because if it's too low already, there's no way to hit anything else except to just make the shuttle go up to your opponent's side. PQ. Hi, coach. What's your advice for a weekly workout plan for badminton? How many times should we train on court, off court? Should we dedicate days for strength, speed, endurance, etc.? Hi PQ. Definitely, I'm all for training as much as you can. If once a day is good for you, then Once a day is fine. 6 times a week is good. At least have 1 day of rest for yourself, just to recover, to have your body, and always listen to your body. But in terms of training, it depends on what our level is. Okay, for the when those international players that you see that compete, normally they train 2 or 3 times in a day, 2 hours, 3 hours each session. Okay, but that's already in a certain level that's already for competition. If you are just slowly getting there, once a day. That's how I started. Well, I started just weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, as a young kid. And then eventually, when I hit grade school, it's 4 times a week. And then about high school, it's every day. And then when I got to college, since I got into the national team, then it's, twice a day, and just the Sundays off. Okay? So, um, okay. So we have, what else? Okay. The other questions, such as how to do the proper jump smash, I've recently come out with a video discussing how to specifically do the jump smash. Please search on the jump smash, so at least you get the detailed version of it. Um, Ringo asks, how can we improve our sense of rhythm and properly time our movement and footwork? Okay, the timing requires a lot of practice. Again, I'd liken it to using the utensils. When we were very, very young, of course, we'd be so messy when we eat because you don't have that coordination yet. It's pretty much the same with anything that you want to practice. Give it a lot of time, practice it very often, and it becomes very natural. Your movement becomes very, very natural. So, for the others who have joined us, late, I just want to remind you all that I do come out with videos every single week, 2 videos per week, Wednesdays and Sundays. What I do is that every Wednesdays I make a video on specific things that I want to teach, and on Sundays I do answer questions, specific questions from people who put those questions on the comment section. Um, from Penelope, what if your opponent is a smasher? How do you play the game or the strategy? Okay, if your opponent is a smasher, what would a coach normally tell you? Do your best not to make your opponent smash. How do you do that? Does that mean you do not lift the shuttle? Definitely not. It's if you do not lift the shuttle, then you're making your opponent's court smaller, which makes it harder for you. So I still want you to do it, to do those lifts at a good time, or maybe the angle of your lift is not as high. Let's say your opponent is a good smasher when the shot is really, really high. Do not lift it really, really high. Maybe you do a shooting lob. Shooting lob would mean hitting it to the back baseline, but then it's not very, very high. So it's slightly lower, sort of similar to a drive. So even if they have to smash it, the angle won't be as sharp. So something like that. There are ways to find, there are solutions to make depending on your opponents. Okay, Anif Mirza, how to defend cross-court smashes. Okay, so, well, cross-court smashes should be a little slower than the straight smashes. So technically, the cross-court should be easier to handle in the sense that you have a few extra seconds to work on it. Okay, if your opponent loves to do a cross-court smash, then you have to consciously remember to anticipate for it. So if you lift on their right side and you know they love doing cross-court, either you move your upper body sort of leaning to the cross court, or maybe your racket getting ready to that cross court side, on any of those sides. Okay. Ogom Perme, hello ma'am, can you please answer my question about shuttle landing on line during serve? Is it out or in? If the serve lands on the line, the cork, of course, the reason why we have line judges and umpires is for them to see it. Because sometimes, as the player, you can't really see it. But the cork of the shuttle has, if it lands on the shuttle and bounces in or bounces wherever, that's still considered in. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for everyone that joined us. And I'm sorry for those that I wasn't able to answer. We really have a lot of questions coming in. We will still have some live stream eventually. And of course, Merry Christmas to everyone. And please do continue watching my videos every single week. Bye, everyone.